Jay Stone here on another beautiful day to be alive on the Cap and Ball Chronicles. In today's video, I'm going to answer a viewer question. So that viewer question is right here. Jay Stone, I don't shoot my Cap and Ball revolvers as much as I want to because I was told I must completely tear it down no matter how much I shoot every time to clean it. And that just is too much time. Is that what you do? Cleaning. When? How? How deeply? How much? How often? Let's deal with that today on the Cap and Ball Chronicles. Hey, before we get started talking about cleaning our Cap and Ball revolvers, where am I? This is a new location for the Cap and Ball Chronicles or the Cap and Ball Fanatic channel. Well, I am at my beloved muzzleloader club, the Grand Valley Cap and Ballers, who is hosting the Michigan State Muzzleloading Association State Championship Shoot from July 10th through July 14th of 2024. I'm shooting this right in the middle of the shoot. Now, whose trailer am I squatting at? Well, that's mine. That's the big news. Welcome to Cap and Ball Fanatic Channel's Northern Campus. I was able to acquire this trailer this week. It had been sitting abandoned for 4 or 5 years. After an inspection, the roof was solid, the floor is solid, everything electrical works. So I was able to get it for a really good price, zilch. And it's my job now to clean her up, kick the mice out, and make it so I'm willing to sleep in there and not feel like something's going to be crawling up my leg. You're going to see a lot more videos coming from this location here at the club because now we have access to all of our ranges. Oh, most of my Cap and Ball revolver shoots are going to still be at the Cap and Ball Fanatic range as they've always been. But coming here to the club to have this as sort of our extension campus allows me opportunities to shoot different firearms on different ranges at different times. The possibilities become endless. And so I'm really looking forward to it. There's the new, once I get a name for her, I'll let you know. But right now it's the Cap and Ball Fanatic Northern Campus here at the Grand Valley Cap and Baller Muzzleloading Club. All right, let's get talking about cleaning our Cap and Ball revolvers. I want to start by saying what I'm going to describe to you, my philosophy on cleaning, when to deep clean, when to field clean, how many shots it takes, all of the stuff you're about to hear is my philosophy. It works for me. It's a process in a belief system that I've developed in my time with Cap and Ball revolvers. That is not to say that those of you who are watching out there, and I love you for watching, who do it differently is wrong. I'm no expert. I just do what works for me. So I'm going to explain the process and philosophy of when I clean and how I clean to you. We can have a conversation about it. If you differ with me, if you have ideas on things that could make my process easier, if you like some things, if you don't like some things, that's fine. Put it in the comments. Again, I'm not trying to be the expert here, the end-all be-all. I'm just going to show what I believe and what I do in hopes that gives you all some choices. But what I really want to do is answer these people's questions, because if cleaning is stopping you from shooting your Cap and Ball revolvers because you think you have to tear it down every time you shoot, no matter how many times you shoot, I'm here to tell you right now, in my opinion, that is nonsense. Let's talk about the two cleaning processes that I use. There's one is a simple cleaning, which is going to be, number one, when I put fewer than 75 rounds through a Cap and Ball revolver. Now, there are some exceptions to that, and I will get into those in a minute. But if I'm taking my Cap and Ball revolver out to the Cap and Ball Fanatic range or here to the club to shoot, and I'm going to put fewer than 75 rounds through that Cap and Ball revolver, I am not tearing it all the way down to the studs to clean it that day, with a couple of exceptions. And what are those exceptions? The main one is, well, there's two of them really, but the main one is if I am in a very humid climate And in Michigan here, you think, well, Michigan, you're in the north. Isn't that refreshing? No, where I happen to live in Michigan, Lake Michigan is about 20 miles from us. And so it gets to be tropical here, oftentimes through the summer. In fact, today, humidity was again at 70%. Or for those of you that live in very humid conditions, if I put more than 30 rounds in my cap and ball revolver, I'm going to tear it all the way down. Why? Because the ignition powders, black powders, 3F black powders, and the Pyrodexes, they soak up moisture. And the more humid it is outside, the more that's going to soak up moisture. So that's number one. If it's very humid. If it's dry conditions, 75 rounds or less. If it's really a dry time, I might go as far as 100 rounds. Now, the second reason that I would deep clean after fewer than 75 rounds is if I know that after today's shoot, when I put 60 or 70 or 80 or 50 rounds through my cap and ball revolver, if I know that I'm not going to shoot that gun again, it's going in the gun safe and it's not coming out for a while. I'm not talking about a week or two or even a month, maybe even 6 weeks. I'm talking about it's going in the gun safe. It's July. It ain't coming out till November. If that's the case, then I'm going to do a deep clean. Okay? So there's two exceptions to my 75 shot and below rule. Other than that, I'm going to let my revolvers run till I get 75 rounds through it or so. I'm not going to stop when I get to 75 if I'm in the second time shooting. I'm going to keep going, and that night or that next morning, it's going to be broken down and cleaned up because I've sort of crossed that threshold. And why is that threshold? I have figured out that 75 plus is when the internals start to get really dirty. And these are my investments. I have a bunch. These are my investments. These are my children, my wife would say. And I want to keep them running for a long, long time. And that's what I've learned. I've kept track of this. 75 shots plus, I deep clean. Less than 75, I do a simple cleaning. So let's talk about a simple cleaning. Remember, when do we use a simple cleaning? In my view, less than 75 shots, not a terribly humid environment, and I know I'm not going to leave my gun stored for the next 5 or 6 months. And what is a simple cleaning? I've taken this gun apart. It focuses on cleaning up the cylinder, taking the nipples out, cleaning them up good, drying them, and then coating them inside and out with a swab of Ballistol before you're done to prevent rust. Cleaning the barrel, doing the same thing. Make sure you do all sides. Clean the barrel real good till you get a clean patch. And the last patch should be a clean patch with Ballistol on it. I soak this patch and run it through to make sure that you get no rust. And then I coat the barrel. And on the main part of the gun, I clean everything I can see. Down inside of there, I clean this off. I clean this off down in that little notch in there where the base pin goes. The hammer face, I clean it as good as I can. I spray the base pin with Ballistol. That's my lubricant. And once I spray that with Ballistol, I just put it back together. I have not gotten inside the gun. I have not gone inside to clean the internals. That's a deep cleaning, and there you go. And it's ready to go. And if you can do that when you take 75 shots or less, and it's not terribly humid, and again, you're not going to leave it sitting for 6 months in a gun cabinet, that's what I do. I've been doing that for years. It takes about 20 minutes to clean my gun after I'm done. That's not a big sacrifice when I'm out having fun on the range. My deep cleaning, which I'll do in another video, the process I use with the same materials, it's just taking the gun apart. That takes me exactly an hour if I'm staying at it, which still, if I put 100, 150 shots through a cap and ball revolver, these are my children. They deserve an hour of my time. Cleaning is just part of the process. But to answer that question again, and I want to say this as emphatically as I possibly can, you don't have to tear it down every single time. That is a myth that's out there. And you're also going to hear people say, well, if you shoot Pyrodex, you do. No, you don't. Because as we all know on this channel, I shoot an awful lot of Pyrodex, and I have never done anything. I don't do it any differently when I'm shooting Pyrodex than I'm doing when I'm shooting 3F black powder of any brand. In fact, the black powder tends to make the internals dirtier than the Pyrodex does, in my humble opinion. So don't let that hook get you. I don't know what Pyrodex was like in the 70s, but I know what it's like now, and it doesn't rust as fast as everybody says it does. And I shoot about 50-50 now, and I've never had a gun rust. All right, so there you have it. A little short ditty on cleaning. When you have to deep clean, which to me is tearing the gun apart, taking all the parts out, cleaning everything, all the internals, drying it up, and putting it back together. And when you have to do a simple cleaning, which is basically taking out the cylinder and the nipples, getting them good and clean, focusing on the barrel, and focusing on the externals of your cap and ball revolver. This has worked for me for a number of years. Never had any rust, never had any problems. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jay Stone, reporting from the new northern campus of the Cap and Ball Fanatic channel. We'll see you again on down the road the next time. Oh yeah, by the way, before you put the YouTube down for the night, why don't you watch this video right here? Hey, I got it right tonight. Right there.